Lilly,
Here.
Maltz,
Here.
Morris,
Here.
Nagai Velazquez,
Proxy.
Otto,
Here.
Owen,
Here.
Prey,
Here.
Robbie, Rafferty,
Here.
Richenberg,
Here.
Ramirez, Shahsavari, Shirky,
Here.
Sides, Strunk,
Here.
Sushanik,
Here.
Sacco.
Here.
I'll be here.
Jacobson's also here.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we will now go into our first open period. So if you will close your laptop screens and join me in welcoming State Representative Angel Roeder.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Very nice. Thank you so much for having me. It is a pleasure to come and speak to people I was a fellow student of last semester. It is really great to serve the great state of Kansas. My name is Angel Roeder. I am the state representative for District 67. District 67 is right at College Avenue, so think Bill Snyder Stadium, all the way to the west over to Corporate Hills area and south to the Genesis Health Club. A little bit about me. I graduated from K-State with a degree in Human Development and Family Sciences with a concentration in Personal Financial Planning and a Wellness minor. I love K-State. I proudly represent K-State at the Capitol in Topeka. There's a lot of Jayhawks there, so it's really hard to get the purple message across, but I do wear purple at least twice a week, so that helps. My husband is a graduate of Wichita State ROTC program. He's currently deployed in another area right now. I serve on the Child Welfare, Welfare Reform, Agriculture, and the Financial Institutions committees at the State House. I don't really know where to start. So, campaigning. About a year ago, I had committed to, do I have to stand here? A year ago, I was already committed to joining the campaign process. After being committed to working on a city commission campaign where I was able to help run, I was able to help run a city commission campaign for an independent candidate. He was a newcomer and he wasn't partisan, and we were able to get him on the city commission as a young professional, which is a huge deal on a commission of people who are typically older. And so that was a really incredible experience, which led to my involvement in local politics. During the late winter of 2024, I had been asked if I could contribute to a campaign. And I said, yes, of course. I'm happy to do so. And in this area, it was Senator Reddy at the time, who is now Senator Starnes in District 22. And then we have Representative Sidney Carlin in the 66 area, which is where Kansas State University is located at. And then it was 3-star General Mike Dodson. I was committed to being on General Dodson's campaign, whether he was going to be reelected or if he was going to find a predecessor. And in that time, he had found a group of people that he thought could find a good candidate for himself to retire. This is like his 6th retirement or something. He kept failing, and I think this time it's really going to stick. I got a call when I was on family vacation. I was with my foster family that I lived with when I was in Nebraska, and we went to a cabin just to have some hiking time and some time away, and I get this call. I'm sitting on the floor, and I'm eating like an entire roll of Oreos, and they had just wanted to make sure that I was still committed to campaigning. During that time, I said yes, but I wasn't really sure what that was going to look like, and so when they told me that General Mike Dodson was going to retire, I said, do you have a replacement? I got silence on the other end of the phone for quite some time, and I was pretty much responded with, well, you're thinking it could be you. And I said no. I took about a month, it was 6 weeks-ish, to pray over it, to talk to community leaders, to get poured into by people who are much wiser than I am and still are. and I ultimately ended up making the decision to run in the spring. In that process, I started fundraising, doing everything that I needed to do, like putting together a team. And so I actually had some K-State students on my team, and it was a wonderful process. We had door knockers, I had a branding manager, I had a communications director, I had a chief of staff and a consultant, and then I had a cabinet. And that cabinet consisted of people who knew more than me. And they still are around to this day. And one thing that I'll let you know about is that representatives and senators don't typically always have that. But for me, with my age and my life experience, I thought it was important to make sure that I had people who know more than me to pour into me. And I think that could be said of anybody, which is why, we have a mentorship through the HYPE program, through the chamber. That's why we have a mentorship program here at K-State. You need to be connected to people who know more than you, because that's how you learn. And so I started that process, and we just took off running. All of a sudden, I had somebody who controlled what I wore. I had somebody who controlled where I was going to be. I didn't know my schedule until I saw it the night before and was able to plan my hair wash days around press events and photography events. We did about 10 hours of filming and photography on top of different photo shoots for headshots and profiles and seminars and press releases and all of the branding that went into that. And I had a really great team of people who believed in me and had faith in me that I could be fulfilling my mission. And for me, my personal mission in this seat is to be an accurate reflection of the district. Crossing the aisle and being a bipartisan person is really important to me, and it still is. And so with my time in the campaign trail, I ended up having a primary election, which is really hard because the nature of those primary elections is you end up with the more extreme candidate of the party. I won my primary election by 28 votes. And in an election across the state, that is a fraction of a percent. It was absolutely wild. There was another gal who won by 22 votes in her election on the far east side of Manhattan. And it was just wild for this area. And this was one of the most watched seats in Kansas. And so my life completely changed. I had never been under the watchful eye of so many different individuals in my life. I learned really quickly that everything that you say or do can be used against you. I got canceled twice. Really lucky that I didn't get canceled the third time. And my marriage was really tested in that moment. So I got married in April of last year, and so it was a heck of a time to be full-time in school. I was full-time in my job. I was planning a wedding for 200 people, and then I was campaigning on top of all of it. So my days ran really long. Get through the summer, get through the primary, go through the general, get canceled, get to November, it's election day, and at that point, my mental health was really tanked. I was empty, I was burned out. I felt like everything that I could have given to this campaign, I gave on the trail, and I was content. And I felt really satisfied in the work that myself and my team did. Well, November 5th came along, and I ended up winning the election, so here I am. And in that, I became the third youngest woman to ever be elected in the Kansas history for the legislature. And I was and I think that stat ends up being about 6th or 7th youngest male or female across both the Senate and the House. So that was a huge deal. And what we can do with that opportunity is pave the way for young people to be involved in politics. And I get a lot of jokes, and I get really hazed for it. My first time carrying a bill on the House floor, I got asked what Y2K was. I didn't even know what that was. Apparently, that's like the end of the world of 2000. Wasn't alive, have no idea. But it's been really awesome to be on committees that I'm passionate about. A few of the things that we've been able to do in the State House, I ran on the promise of fully funding public education and special education. For some reason, public education is a partisan topic. It shouldn't be. So me and Democrats on the other side, except for 3 of them, voted against the budget. The budget did not appropriate properly for special education, and so I carried out on that promise and was able to cross the party line on that. In financial institutions, we were able to improve the CAPERS 3 system, which is one of the systems for benefits for educators, government employees, all sorts of people across the state are on CAPERS 3. Was able to be on that. I am actually the only person on financial institutions and pensions who was a banker, which is crazy to think about. And so it's been kind of interesting to contribute my lived experiences as a banker and my knowledge that I've had through really wise people here in the community that are able to be a resource for me and then pour into my knowledge basket, I guess you could say. In child welfare and foster care, we were able to address the need for foster children for their permanent custody hearings. Federally, the mandate is that it has to be 12 months from the court order for removal of the home. Kansas is doing excellent in that, so we were able to raise the bar by lowering the timing of that to 9 months, and then 6 months every court proceeding thereafter. That is a huge win for foster kids. In welfare reform, we don't do much. My party tried to ban candy and soda for people who are using SNAP benefits. I voted against that, which was HB 2015.
Speaker's time has expired.
Senator Shirkey.
I move to extend the speaker's time by 2 minutes.
Is there an objection? Speaker's time is extended.
I was able to vote against that. That died. That Senate bill came back up today, voted against it again, and it did make it out of committee, so we'll be working on trying to get that defeated on the floor. And then in agriculture, we were able to address some of the water issues in the state. Agriculture and Natural Resources is a very important committee, and I've learned a ton in that. Talking about PFAS, so how to fight Big Teflon, or talking about the avian flu and what that's going to do for eggs and how the national tariffs are going to affect that. It's been a really cool process. A little bit about me personally. I was a foster kid for 14 years, and so I actually don't really have parents, but I do have wonderful in-laws. I have a really amazing service dog. Her name is Artemis. She's with me most of the time. She's actually at an additional training right now to up her service certifications. I love to garden. I bake sourdough bread, and I do carry a Stanley with me like all the time. So I am also a participant in the Comfort Water Bottle trend. And I think that's pretty much all I have. And if you have questions, I'd love to answer them.
Chair Lee.
Thank you, Representative Roach, for coming out. I know it's a busy time and you guys are happening in the legislature. But I guess my question to you is, you're one of the youngest, or the youngest, and also the first Vietnamese American to be elected to the legislature. So I just wondered, with that, what kind of challenges have you kind of faced dealing with older legislators who might be more experienced? Do you feel like people look down on you, or just any other issues you kind of face out there?
That's a great question. So what he had asked was, being one of the first, or probably the first Vietnamese legislator, and also because of my age, if that poses any challenges for me, and the answer to that is yes and no. It's really important to me to have a bipartisan cabinet back home. So I have not made a single vote, unless it was bipartisan and unanimous, without talking to somebody on the home team. And that really kind of mitigates that challenge. When you have a breadth of knowledge in Manhattan, which, by the way, Manhattan has some of the most historical state leaders in Kansas history. We have so many people who serve on the Board of Regents. We have so many people who are involved at K-State and are able to represent the great state of Kansas. We have people who have lived here for their entire lives and have 45, 65, however many years of knowledge in different industries that are great resources. And so yes and no. I don't feel personally that I've ever been undermined for being a woman of color, or for my age. And I think a part of that is that I ended up on committees that I asked for because of my lived experiences and because of my qualifications to serve on those. Had I ended up on Judiciary Committee, then I would probably have a lot of questions and probably not so qualified to be working bills that I know nothing about or the process for. But as for me and the 4 that I serve, which 4 committees is a lot for a freshman, don't really know how we ended up there, but I don't think that's been a case. I will say, one thing that I did not expect in politics, am I in the same? Sorry. One thing I didn't expect about politics is that there is a huge objectification of women. And my song for the campaign was "The Man" by Taylor Swift, Taylor's version. And it really didn't mean anything to me. I just really liked the song, and I was replacing a long succession of men in this district, and so it was just kind of a song to make me feel better during the campaign and the stress that I was going through. But now that I'm at the State House and I'm in politics, it's really prevalent, and it's kind of gross. And it's something that, if I'm a drop in the bucket for the change that comes later in that, then that's fantastic, and that's a start. But the expectation of being presentable, I start my days at 4:30 in the morning. It takes me about 2 hours a day to do the full shower thing, the blowout, the hair, the makeup, the clothes, and get myself out the door by 6:30 to take the hour-long drive to Topeka, get there by 7:30 to make it to my 8 a.m. And that isn't necessarily something that other people have to do. And it's just something that you can feel it in the culture and you can feel it in the bones, but it's something that I think that can change. And I think the start of that is going to be with this generation, the first Gen Z, I guess, in the State House. Thanks for the question.
Chair Edgar.
What's been your favorite committee assignment so far? If you have one.
Child welfare. I'm the only foster kid on that committee. There's 2 former foster children in the State House. And I think
Time for questions has expired.
Senator Shirkey.
I move to suspend the rules and extend the time for questioning by 3 minutes.
Is there an objection?
That doesn't require suspension of the rules.
Thank you.
The speaker's time is extended.
We've been able to do a lot with foster care, and it's something that I'm really passionate about. The entire system of foster care in Kansas changed during the Brownback administration, which I was like in middle school for. And so making sure I learned that process and the differences between this one here in Kansas and the one that I lived through in Nebraska has been a change, but then also all the potential to change it in a positive way. There are a lot of people hurting. There are a lot of children who are being removed for reasons that they shouldn't be. There are a lot of children on the other side who aren't being removed, and they should be. And so the state's job is to be a steward of the state's finances, so work the budget, and also to protect the vulnerable. And that is the most vulnerable population that I can think of is children who are in need. And so I'm really passionate about child welfare. There are some, if you go back and look at the YouTube recordings of me on that Zoom, there are some times where I really, really grill some of the people that we have in that committee, because it's important that these kids have somebody to advocate for them. And for me, having lived in that system, those are my brothers and sisters that are living this life, that are living exactly what I lived, or worse or better. I don't know. But what I can do to help make sure that we have policymakers and changers who are doing things not for their own benefit or to cut corners financially, but to act in the best interests of children is critically important, and something that we need across the country right now as a movement.
Senator Kermer.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that you support public education, but sometimes representatives will say they just support education. What is your stance on school vouchers?
Well, I was really active and insistent that I'm against the diversion of public dollars to private schools. I am in the minority of my party in that issue. I believe in fully funding special education. School vouchers would have never been an option for me as a foster kid. I mean, seriously, who would have signed off on that? The state of Kansas? The governor? My foster parents? That wouldn't make any sense. And so for me, that's a big part of it. But then also, I was raised by public educators. I was raised by public servants. I was raised by public health care workers. So I have not ever supported vouchers out loud, ever. And I will continue to hold that stance and hold that line for our public schools.
Senator Shirkey.
Yeah, I have a technical question from like the agricultural standpoint. So, especially with a new federal administration, that's going to be a lot more cautious in the way that it puts out funding and support for environmental focused initiatives. Right? How do you balance things like the growing challenge of PFAS and like microplastics and that sort of thing with preserving, long-standing industries that are critical for the nation? Is there there any work you're doing on Capitol Hill for that?
Time for questions has expired.
Senator Shirkey.
Do I need to suspend the rules this time, parliamentarian?
Yes.
I move to suspend the rules and extend the time for questioning by 2 minutes.
Is there an objection? The time is extended.
PFAS. Go back and look on YouTube. The Ag Committee, we just did an entire presentation on it from folks, actually, I think from K-State. There's a lot of research that needs to be done on it. One of the things about being a fiscally responsible state is that we're not going to rely on the federal government for all of the initiatives that we run here. And so when people come to me and talk to me about NBAF, that's a clear separation of government powers of state and federal. So it's not something that I could technically be a part of fixing right now at the state level, but there are different things that we are funding at the state level that are completely independent of the federal government and are using Kansas taxpayers to pour into Kansans doing research or doing adamant work in the state or within the state or for the state, and to go back into the well-being of Kansans. And so we're very centric focused on keeping that money and recycling it back here, because if we're going to take it from you, then we absolutely should be giving it back.
Thank you.
Are there any further questions? Okay, seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any further first open period speakers? Senator Shirkey.
I'd like to exercise my right as a president of a student organization under our recently amended First Open rules to talk about First Open matters not related to pending legislation.
That's allowed. It has to specifically be related to your club.
President Shirkey.
It is the foremost responsibility.
Can you turn the mic on?
Sure thing. It is the foremost responsibility of an engineer to behave ethically. When they encounter superiors that are instructing them to engage in misconduct or to certify things that they should not be certifying, or to support issues that they do not have that they cannot support in good conscience, it is the obligation of an engineer to reject that and to refuse to aid and abet such misconduct. I have made a mistake. When Speaker Cuesta called me on March 3rd, 2025, and asked me to help him subvert the presidential campaign of Kappelman and Pudentz by filing spurious violation reports against their campaign, which I should not have done, I made a mistake. I supported that. And luckily, the commission did the right thing and rejected those reports. I do not have the sufficient burden of evidence to, in the court of law or any such thing, prove such a action. I recorded the first call that he made where he asked me to do something that he didn't want to be seen involved with, to why he wanted to support this unfounded action against another candidate. I don't know. But I do know that it was a mistake when I went along with that. And I failed in my obligation as a member of this chamber by not immediately.
Nope, that's where you're done.
Yep.
So as the president of a student org, you have to have this be related to your club.
Yes.
And now relating it back to the chamber, you're, yep.
Okay. Are there any further first open period speakers? Seeing none, we will go to the approval of the minutes. The minutes were passed out this morning, along with the legislation tracking information and the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Caucus Leader Moltz.
I move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any objections? The minutes will stand approved. With that, we'll now go to announcements. 1, proxies. If you're going to be absent from a student senate meeting, please fill out this link, even if you aren't sure if your absence will be excused. 2, if you'll be physically absent from student senate but would still like to attend via Zoom, please fill out the student senator Zoom request form, and Speaker Cuesta will review requests based on the student senate attendance policy. Please submit requests here. 3, want to give props to somebody in student senate, fill out the shout out form. The Speaker Pro Tem Hesseltine will read them at the end of our meeting. Fill out your shout outs here. 4, the SGA members of the week are Brady Kappelman and Zoe Pudens. Brady and Zoe were recently elected as the next student body president and vice president. Congratulations on you two, and good luck on the upcoming term. 5 is the upcoming events calendar, and the quote of the week is, "Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is relax," by President Barack Obama. We will now go into committee reports. Are there any committee chairs who would like to give a report? Seeing none, we will now go into directors' reports. Are there any directors who would like to give a report? Seeing none, we will now go into college caucus time. If you want to explain that, Speaker Pro Tem Hesseltine.
Okay, so for Health and Human Sciences are breaking a tie, correct, Carson? Yes, so for Health and Human Sciences, you guys are breaking a tie from the election, and for the rest of you, just kind of reflect on the past term, and that's okay.
Caucus Leader Moltz.
I have that information. I don't know if that subverts meeting committee time or caucus time.
You've already broken the tie?
Yeah, I mean, I have the vote and I'm proxy, so I have the proxy vote for who, and it's only 2 of us.
Okay, we'll skip college caucus. We will now go into final action on Bill 242575, increase of the Lafine Center Student Services Fee Agreement, referred favorably from SSF 8 to 0 to 0. If the author will please come forward. Were there changes in committee?
Just clerical changes, and I think we added one whereas clause. No, we didn't. That's on the one-time allocation.
You have first rights to debate.
Throughout this year, there's been a lot of discussion about Lafine and what can be done to improve it and what the current problems are. And unfortunately, I think the only solution is to put more money into their budget. A lot of their problems stem from staffing issues, and the only way that we can fix that here is to increase their operating budget. That way they can retain staff, they can pay our incredible healthcare workers what they deserve, and we can have more appointments available for students and generally a higher quality standard of care for all students here at K-State. Even if you don't personally use Lafine, I promise that you know someone who does, and you know someone who relies upon it. And having that option for students who might not be insured, they might be international students, they might just have a really bad healthcare plan. Knowing that we can take that burden off their shoulders where they're not worried about how they're going to afford their medical treatment or if they can afford to get labs or tested or drug tested, it really makes it easier to be a student, takes a lot of stress off people's plates, and Lafine is a nationally recognized great healthcare institution, and we will be remiss not to ensure that they have the funding needed to do their job well.
Just a reminder to please limit crosstalk during debate in the chamber.
Seeing there was debate in the positive on Bill 75, is there debate in the negative? Seeing none, is there any debate in the positive? And is there any further debate at all? Okay, seeing none, Speaker Pro Tem Hesseltine will take a roll call vote on Bill 75.
Alvarez,
Yes.
Bailey, Black,
Yes, by proxy.
Blood,
Yes.
Byers, Casement, Koch,
Yes.
Cox, Ediger,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
George, Giefer,
Yes. Yes.
We gotcha. Glanville,
Yes, by proxy.
Glasscock,
Yes.
Griffith,
Yes.
Hassan Shakib, Hoffman,
Yep.
Holmes,
Yes, by proxy.
Holzmeister,
No.
Jacobson,
No.
Jonak,
Yes.
Carton,
Yes, by proxy.
Kidd,
Yes, by proxy.
Kermer,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Lee,
Yep.
Lilly, McCulloch, Moltz,
Yes.
it's okay. Morris,
Yes.
Nagai Velazquez,
Yes, by proxy.
Otto,
Yes.
Owen,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes, by proxy.
Palenko, Prey,
Yes.
Robbie,
Yes.
Rafferty,
Yes.
Richenberg,
Yes.
Ramirez,
Yes.
Shahasavari,
Yes.
Shirky,
Yes.
Sides, Stewart, Strunk,
Yep.
Sushanek,
Yes.
Uphouse, and Zacco.
No.
Okay, that will pass 33 to 3 to 0.
Okay, seeing as that was final action on Bill 75, we will now go into final action on Bill 76, amendments to the KSUSGA statutes regarding the SSF review schedule, referred favorably from SSF 820 to 0. The author will please come forward. Were there changes made in committee?
Yes, and I would like to make one more right now, very friendly amendment. We need to add the word annual to line, scroll. Yeah, probably. Yep. It's very important that that is an annual review. It's almost the whole point of the document. No, not 43, 70.
73, right?
To present an annual report of their current.
Your first right to debate.
Friendly by authors, okay.
Fix my name.
Senator Hoffman.
Is that not how you spell it?
No.
Huh,
Not.
weird.
Your first right to debate.
I know last week I talked about the fact that we were going to workshop this pretty heavily as a committee and really think through and talk about what was going to be the best decision going forward. Originally, when I wrote this, I was a little gung-ho on wanting to shift our quote-unquote big three onto an annual review cycle or a one-year review cycle, just because we've been pulling things out of cycle so frequently that it's becoming the standard to review them almost annually, and just making that mandated and certifiable that we will review them annually and continue to maintain and stay on top of their budget coming out of our post-COVID years. However, that, upon reflection, was too big of a change too quickly, and this amendment here will allow us to have kind of an adjustment period into looking at those one-year contract cycles that a lot of other universities use, bringing the entity directors of the big three before the committee on an annual basis to kind of give us their 3-year financial outlook and a rundown and overview of how they've been operating is going to help the committee be better informed of the current situation and framing around the fee as a whole, which will allow us to make better allocations to all entities beyond the big three, even if not every entity is coming in to present on an annual basis. Additionally, we'll be able to pull them out of cycle based on those presentations if we find them to be concerning or in need of some additional funds that we have if enrollment projections remain at a constant, which they're projected to be now, which means we're going to continue bringing in a surplus over the next 3 to 4 fiscal years. So this is just going to be a good shift for our financial practices. Putting it in writing instead of relying on it being precedent or in my transition docs is going to help the government here run a little bit more smoothly. And help the next chair and future chairs know what's going on.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there debate in the negative? Seeing none, is there any debate in the positive? And is there any further debate at all? Seeing none, we will now take a roll call vote on Bill 76.
Alvarez,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes, via proxy.
Black,
Yes, by proxy.
Blood,
Yes.
Byers, Casement, Koch,
Yes.
Cox, Ediger,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Kiefer, Glanville,
Yes, by proxy.
Glasscock,
Yes.
Griffith,
I abstain.
Hassan Shakib, Hoffman,
Yep.
Holmes, Holzmeister,
Pass.
Jacobson,
Yes.
Jonak,
Yes.
Carton,
Yes, by proxy.
Kidd, Kermer,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Lee,
Here. Yes.
Lilly,
Yes.
Maltz, Morris,
Yes.
Nagai Velasquez, Otto,
Yes.
Nagai Velasquez votes yes by proxy.
Owen,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes, by proxy.
Palenko, Prey, Robbie,
Yes.
Rafferty,
Yes.
Richenberg,
Yes.
Ramirez,
Yes.
Shahasavari,
Yes.
Shirky,
Yes.
Sides, Stewart,
Yes, by proxy.
Strunk,
Yes.
Sushanik,
Yes.
Uphouse, Sacco.
So sorry, yes.
Okay, and Holzmeister for the passes. Okay, that will pass 34 to 0 to 1.
Okay, we will now go into final action on Bill 77, amendments to the KSU-SGA bylaws regarding community engagement. Senator Griffith.
I move to bulk roll call Bill 77 and 78.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded to bulk roll call Bill 77 and 78. If you are in favor of bulk roll calling Bill 77 and 78, please raise your placards now. Proxies raised too. Okay, the motion passes. If the author of Bill 77 will please come forward. Were there changes in committee?
No.
You have first rights to debate. Bill 77.
On Bill, every time I come up here, I swear. Same thing as last week. I mean, it's just kind of a clerical change to match the university's related office. It's not. If you have any questions, I guess I could address them in the next round of debate, but otherwise, you know.
Okay. Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there debate in the negative? Seeing none, is there any debate in the positive on Bill 77? And is there any further debate at all? Okay, seeing none, we will now go into Bill 78. If the author will please come forward. Were there changes in committee?
Also no.
You have first rights to debate.
Same thing.
What an orator. Seeing as that was debate in the positive on Bill 78, are there any debate speeches in the negative? Seeing none, is there any debate in the positive? And is there any further debate at all? Okay, seeing none, we will take a bulk roll call vote on Bills 77 and 78.
Okay, Alvarez,
Yes.
to both.
Yes to both, yes.
Bailey, Black,
Yes to both.
Blood,
Yes to both.
Byers, Casement, Koch,
Yes to both.
Cox, Ediger,
Yes to both.
Erickson,
Yes to both.
George,
Yes to both.
Kiefer, Glanville,
Yes to both by proxy.
Glasscock,
Yes to both.
Griffith,
Yes to both.
Hassan Shakib, Hoffman,
Yes to both.
Holmes,
Yes to both by proxy.
Holzmeister,
Pass.
Jacobson,
Pass.
Jonak,
Yes to both.
Carton,
Yes to both by proxy.
Kidd,
Yes to both by proxy.
Kermer,
Yes to both.
Kramer,
Yes to both.
Lee,
Yes to both.
Lilly,
Yes to both.
Maltz, Morris,
Yes to both.
Nagai Velasquez,
Yes to both by proxy.
Otto,
Yes to both.
Owen,
Yes to both.
Phillips,
Yes to both by proxy.
Polanco,
Yes to both by proxy.
Prey, Robbie,
Yes to both.
Rafferty,
Yes to both.
Richenberg,
Yes to both.
Ramirez,
Yes to both.
Shasavari,
Yes to both.
Shirky,
Yes to both.
Sides, Stewart,
Yes to both by proxy.
Strunk,
Yes to both.
Sushanik,
Yes to both.
Uphouse, Zacco.
Yes to both.
Okay. Holzmeister,
No.
Jacobson,
Wait, no to what?
Both.
No to both.
for both of you?
Yes.
Okay, I got that. Bill 242577 will pass 35 to 2 to 0, and Bill 242578 will pass 35 to 2 to 0.
Okay, seeing as that was final action on Bill 77 and 78, we will now go into final action on Bill 79, amendments to the KSUSGA bylaws regarding judicial interpretations, referred favorably from Ops 4 to 0 to 0. If the author will please come forward. Were there changes in committee?
Which one is this?
Bill 79.
No, there were not.
You have first rights to debate.
Also, basically the same thing as last week. Basically, the judicial interpretation is very hard to get and is objectively a good thing. And from everything I've heard about tribunal, they're not swamped with stuff to do. So,
Another excellent speech. Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there debate in the negative? Seeing none, is there any debate in the positive? And is there any further debate at all? Seeing none, we will now take a roll call vote on Bill 79.
Alvarez,
Yes.
Bailey, Black, Blood,
Yes.
Byers, Casement, Koch,
Yes.
Cox, Ediger,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Kiefer, Glanville,
Yes by proxy.
Glasscock,
Yes.
Griffith,
Yes.
Hassan Shakib, Hoffman,
Yep.
Holmes,
Yes by proxy.
Holzmeister,
Pass.
Jacobson,
Pass.
Jonak,
Yes.
Carton,
Yes by proxy.
Kidd,
Yes by proxy.
Kermer,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Lilly,
Yes.
Maltz, Morris,
Yes.
Nagai Velasquez,
Yes by proxy.
Otto,
Yes.
Owen,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes by proxy.
Polanco,
Yes by proxy.
Prey, Robbie,
Yes.
Yes.
Rafferty, Richenberg,
Yes.
Ramirez,
Yes.
Shah Savari,
Yes.
Shirky,
Yes.
Sides, Stewart,
Yes by proxy.
Strunk,
Yes.
Sushanik,
Yes.
Uphouse, Zacco.
Yes.
Okay, Holzmeister,
Yes.
Jacobson,
Yes.
okay. That will pass 36.
Black votes yes.
What?
Black votes yes by proxy.
That will pass 37 to 0 to 0.
Seeing as that was final action on Bill 79, we will now go into final action on Bill 80. Amendments to the KSUSGA bylaws regarding initiatives, referenda, and plebiscites referred favorably from Ops 4 to 0 to 0. If the author will please come forward. Were there changes in committee?
No.
You have first rights to debate.
My only debate to start with this is that I changed Brian Blood's mind on this, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. If anyone has any questions, I feel like I can address them in the next round of debate.
Well done, Joe. Okay, we'll now go into, well, is there any debate in the negative on Bill 80? Senator Griffith.
Hi, the piece of legislation that this bill is amending was originally written by me, and I'm just going to quickly take you guys through the logic of why that logic, I believe, should lead to you voting no on this. The reason that initiatives, referenda, and plebiscite were assigned to the Senate Operations Committee was not simply just because I was on the Operations Committee when I wrote this. The reason is because initiative petitions will come to the Speaker in a form that is not a passable legislation. So it will go to the Operations Committee, who will turn it into passable legislation, into something that fits our language, our style, our formatting, all of it. That should go to the Senate Operations Committee because that's already their job, not the Strategic Oversight Committee, who is, chances are, likely already to be swamped with something when something like this comes in. The other two, referenda and plebiscite, both are innately tied to the elections process, which is what Operations is told to manage. The Senate Operations Committee manages the elections, has the Elections Commissioner serving on the committee. And both referendum and plebiscite use the election software. It is the ideal place for things related to those to go, because they would be the ones related on managing it. The affirmative side debate has argued that the Oversight Committee is the place to send these because they're outward-facing committees. And sure, when it comes to things like saying that, hey, there is a referenda on the ballot or a plebiscite question coming up, that makes sense. But this is about the actual handling, running, and ultimate certification of the results of initiatives, referenda, and plebiscites, all of which are so innately tied to ops that I think it makes perfect sense for it to be set to the committee and not sent to oversight. As such, I would urge you as the body to consider that and vote no on Bill 80.
Seeing as that was debate in the negative, is there debate in the positive? Oh, parliamentarian blood.
So I agreed with the previous speaker all up until about 5:45 on Tuesday, when, as the chair of the Senate Operations Committee alluded to, he changed my mind for the first time this term. And the reasoning with that is really the operation of the election doesn't change at all, right? So that operations side, when it comes to referendum, doesn't change. And that part's somewhat reasonable. But for initiatives and plebiscites, those are a little bit more homegrown, right? A lot more external facing. And every committee writes legislation, right? That's all going to eventually go to the Senate Operations Committee before, just to make sure it fits the grammar and everything. But it allows one group to maybe refine and work directly with the actual students on campus a little bit more, when the Senate Operations Committee could be, look at the agenda last week when we had 10 pieces of legislation introduction. That can be a lot harder to handle, to edit, in addition to then having to go and work with another group and get something into a workable piece of legislation that both meets the initiative that's been signed and the document. And so while I agree, and I'm usually not one to take away responsibilities from the Senate Operations Committee, I just think this is actually just a bit of a better fit and really doesn't change the process for the Senate Operations Committee at all. They're still going to review the legislation. They're still going to help run the elections process along with the elections commissioner. It just gives a little bit more of an arm's length for the actual dealing with the initiative, the plebiscite, the referenda, so that another committee can work more on dealing directly with the student body because they're a little bit better equipped to do that. And so I'd urge you to vote yes.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there debate in the negative? Seeing none, is there any further debate in the positive? And is there any further debate at all? Seeing none, we will now go into a roll call vote on Bill 80.
Alvarez,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes, via proxy.
Black, Blood,
Yes.
Yes.
Byers, Casement, Koch,
Yes.
Cox, Edgar,
Yes.
Erickson,
Yes.
George,
Yes.
Giefer, Glanville,
Yes by proxy.
Glasscock,
Yes.
Griffith,
No.
Hassan Shakib, Hoffman,
Yes.
Holmes, Holzmeister,
Abstain.
Jacobson,
Yes.
Jonak,
Yes.
Carton,
Yes by proxy.
Kidd, Kermer,
Abstain.
Kramer,
Yes.
Lee,
Yep.
Lilly,
Yep.
Maltz,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Agave Velazquez,
Yes by proxy.
Otto,
Yes.
Owen,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes by proxy.
Palenko,
Yes by proxy.
Prey, Robbie,
Yes.
Rafferty,
Abstain.
Richenberg,
Yes.
Ramirez,
Yes.
Shahasavari,
Yes.
Shirky,
Yes.
Sides, Stewart,
Yes, by proxy.
Strunk,
Yes.
Sushanik,
Yes.
Uphouse, Zacco.
Abstain.
Okay, Bill 242580 will pass 32 to 1 to 4.
Okay, seeing as that was final action on Bill 80, we'll now go into final action on Resolution 70, allocation of student general surplus funds for Lafine Healthcare, referred favorably from SSF 8 to 0 to 0.
Got a lot of questions about this one. Lafine came to the committee requesting one-time funds to upgrade their X-ray machine. From the way they explained it to us, the machine they're currently operating on, which uses cassettes, is just extremely old and outdated. It's very hard to maintain and get new parts for and keep up with over time because it's just deteriorated past the point of even being relevant. So it is a dinosaur on its last legs, and we have amazing healthcare workers over at Lafine, and it is important that we give them equipment that can provide the best quality of care for our students here. And if there's any concern about having technicians who are going to be there to operate this equipment, the increase to their contract just passed, so hopefully that won't be as big of an issue going forward.
Seeing as that was debated in the positive on Resolution 70, is there debate in the negative? Seeing none, is there any debate in the positive? And is there any further debate at all? Okay, with that, we will now take a hand vote on Resolution 70, the allocation of student general surplus funds for the Lafine Health Center. If you are in favor of passing Resolution 70, please raise your placards now. Proxies raised 2. Okay, you can lower them. All opposed, same sign. And any abstentions? Okay, with that, Resolution 70 will pass on a hand vote. With that, we will now move into final action on Resolution 71, approval of the FY26 Student Center Tuition Enhancement Allocation, referred favorably from the Tuition Enhancements Committee 8 to 0 to 0. The author will please come forward.
Hello, everyone.
Were there
I urge-
changes in committee?
No, there were not.
Okay, you have
Thank
first rights to debate.
Okay, fantastic. Well, essentially, I just think that you should vote yes on this bill because the committee did some thorough work and asked lots of questions and ensured that these were all proposals that were worthy of receiving funding. And so, yeah, just vote yes. These are all fantastic.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive, is there debate in the negative? Seeing none, is there any debate in the positive? And is there any further debate at all? Okay, we will now take a hand vote on Resolution 71. If you're in favor of passing Resolution 71, please raise your placards now. Proxies raised too. Okay, you can lower them. All opposed, same sign. And any abstentions? Resolution 71 will pass on a hand vote, and we will now go into the introduction of legislation. The first is Bill 242581, increase of the recreational services, student services fee agreement. Is there a motion to consider? Senator Shirkey.
I move to consider Bill 81.
Second.
Is there an objection? Okay. Senator Hoffman.
I move to allow the author to summarize.
Second.
Is there an objection? The author may summarize.
Whereas the Student Services Fee Committee voted to review the recreational services contract out of their regularly scheduled review cycle due to a budget surplus. Whereas the Student Services Fee Committee has been approved to allocate approximately $1.1 million out of their $1.3 million FY25 surplus. Whereas Kansas State University and KSU SGA have begun to reallocate financial resources to prioritize student health and well-being. Whereas Recreational Services Department manages the Chester E. Peters Recreational Center, Outdoor Rental Center, and associated outdoor recreation areas including playfields, tennis, basketball, and sand volleyball. Whereas Recreational Services manages the program area of intramurals, sports clubs, fitness/wellness, climbing wall, and the free time usage of the Peters Recreational Complex. Whereas the Student Services Fee Committee is committed to ensuring the financial well-being of the student services fee. Whereas the Recreational Services operating budget has not seen an increase since FY13 and is expected to run a deficit of $540,000. Whereas without an immediate increase in the operating budget, Recreational Services will expend their operational carry-forward balance to the end of FY26. Whereas the proposed increase represents 11.5% increase to the Recreational Services operating budget, and whereas the Student Services Fee Committee voted 8-0 to recommend the following Student Services Fee Agreement to Student Senate. And then, as always, we have the Recreational Services contract in Section 1. The only change made to that contract is updating the dollar amount in Section 1 of that.
Are there any questions or corrections for the author? Senator Shirkey.
I have a question about how you guys selected that value of increase. Does that specific percentage correct the $540,000 deficit? Is it below it, above it?
That increase came down to the fact that this was the last entity that we pulled out of cycle and the last review that we were doing of our entire term. It is simply, we gave them as much money as we had left over at the end of the term, while still sending beyond adequate funds into reserves, especially since we've pulled out of reserves twice this term. We're sending even more money into reserves to make up for those 2 one-time allocations that were passed. So we looked at about the $250K that we had left of the surplus, and we chose this $150K to allocate out, sending the rest of it to reserves, where it'll sit and wait for a rainy day or a really fun project to come along.
Thank you.
Any further questions or corrections? Senator Hoffman.
Yeah, I'm just wondering why that percent is its full value of 11.5024.
Hey, I went to ops and I fought for that. I did. I wanted to defend what my committee wrote, and I wanted it to be presented the way that my committee referred it out. But ops said no.
Senator Shirkey.
Wait, what? I didn't raise my placard.
Sorry. Senator Griffith.
I propose a friendly amendment to change whatever was changed in ops back to it. The one that it was out as.
I have roll call.
Okay. Whoa. If any amending will happen that's major, we'll amend it in committee, right? Why not? Okay. What is your motion, Senator Griffith?
I move to friendly amend it to
11.5024.
to 11.5024.
I object.
Who are the authors?
I also object.
Yeah, that wouldn't be friendly. Chair Lilly said no.
Okay. Are there any further questions or corrections, Chair Lilly?
I have a point of information. We took a vote on this in ops. So this is not necessarily how I wanted it, but it's how it is.
Okay. Are there any further questions or corrections for the author? Okay, seeing none, thank you. With that, we will now go into the introduction of Bill. Chair Suchanek.
I move to special order Bill 242581.
Second.
Is there an objection? Okay, you first to debate on the motion.
When trying to build the schedule this term for how we were going to pull two entities out of cycle, as well as hearing from Cats Covered, and looking at the weeks we had left, it became quickly impossible, which is why we were forced to make these rec decisions all in one night. We heard the presentation, we had discussion, and then we voted and referred it out. The rec was the big three that we were pulling out of cycle that was in the least dire need for funds. So the decision came down to, is it better to send this money to the rec to be used by the students who paid into the fee this year, or is it better to send that money to reserves? And we voted to put the money into the rec budget. I don't foresee there being any changes or corrections to that in committee. We thought the term, when we wrote this on Monday night, we thought this was the last night of the term anyway, and we were planning on special ordering it regardless. So it would just save all of us a lot of time from having to meet on Zoom or do like a quick large email chain to refer this back out unanimously without correction. So really, government efficiency, I think it would be better to just vote on this tonight, get it done, and you won't make your poor SSF committee, who has spent 3 hours every Monday night in a meeting for a year, have one more meeting.
Seeing as there was debate in the positive on the motion to special orders, or debate in the negative? Seeing none, is there debate in the positive? And is there any further debate at all? Okay, we will now take a hand vote on the motion to special order Bill 81. If you are in favor of special ordering the bill, please raise your placard now. Proxies raised too. Okay, you can lower them and the motion passes. If the author of Bill 81 will please come forward. Were there changes in committee?
No.
You have first right to debate.
SSF has accomplished a lot of really great things this year. We were super lucky to have a surplus because all the students who are currently here and our admin has done a wonderful job of bringing enrollment back up at K-State. And we should all be super proud to get to have the fee, to get to have the power of the purse in this room, and to get to allocate these funds back out. I think giving these funds to the rec will allow the rec to be a better place for students to be. We signed on as a health promoting university, and I think this is a great way to prove that students' dollars are behind that, and that we should prioritize student health as well as student fun and the cultural benefits, the campus culture created by the rec and the rec fields, and the team building that is established there.
Seeing as that was debate in the positive on Bill 81, is there debate in the negative? Seeing none, is there a debate in the positive? And is there any further debate at all? Seeing none, we will now go into a roll call vote on Bill 81.
Alvarez?
Yes.
Bailey? Black?
Yep.
Blood?
Yes.
Byers? Casement? Koch?
Yes.
Cox? Ediger?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
George?
Yes.
Kiefer? Glanville?
Yes, by proxy.
Glasscock?
Yes.
Griffith?
Yes.
Hassan Shakib? Hoffman?
Yep.
Holmes? Holzmeister?
Abstain.
Jacobson?
No.
Jonak?
Yes.
Carton,
Yes, by proxy.
Kidd,
Yes, by proxy.
Kermer,
Yes.
Kramer,
Yes.
Lee,
Yeah.
Lilly,
Yes.
Maltz,
Yes.
Morris,
Yes.
Nagai Velasquez,
Yes, by proxy.
Otto,
Yes.
Owen,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes.
Palenko, Prey, Robbie,
Yes.
Rafferty,
Yes.
Richenberg,
Yes.
Ramirez,
Yes.
Shahasavari,
Yes.
Shirky,
Yes.
Stides, Stewart,
Yes, by proxy.
Strunk,
Yes.
Sushanik,
Yes.
Uphouse, Zacco.
Yes.
Okay, Bill 2425-81 will pass 34 to 1 to 1.
Okay, with that, we'll now go to the introduction of Bill 2425-72, certification of the 2025 KSU SGA general election results. Is there a motion to consider the resolution? Caucus Leader Moltz.
Move to consider the resolution.
Second.
Is there an objection? If the author will please come forward.
Good luck.
I hate all of you. They're placards.
Chair Sushanik.
I move to allow the author to summarize
Second.
the whereas clauses.
Object.
It has been moved, seconded, and objected to allowing the author to summarize the whereas clauses.
I would like to amend my motion. He can summarize the whole document.
I object to that.
Okay, we will now take a vote on whether the author should be allowed to summarize. If you are in favor of that motion, please raise your placards now. Proxies raise 2. Okay, you can lower them. All opposed, same sign. You can lower them, and the motion will fail. Read the bill.
So basically, all this is saying is these are the election results. The motion failed?
Yeah, the motion.
No. Hold on.
It's 2/3.
Yes. You have to read the resolution in its entirety.
I tried.
I come up here and get made fun of every time. Resolution 2425-72, certification of the 2025 KSU SGA general election results. Authors Joseph Lilly, sponsors Senate Operations Committee. Whereas the Kansas State University Student Governing Association KSU SGA general election on March 4th to 5th, 2025 was conducted in the manner prescribed in the KSU SGA bylaws and statutes, including the Elections Regulations Code. Whereas Chapter 1, Section 1109A of the KSU SGA statutes requires the Elections Commissioner to submit the unofficial general election results to the Senate Operations Committee and the Senate Operations Committee to author a resolution for submission to Student Senate. And whereas Chapter 1, Section 1109C of the KSU SGA statutes states both that the unofficial results shall become official upon their adoption by a majority vote of Student Senate, and that the Student Senate shall not amend the submitted election results. Be it enacted that Section 1, Student Senate adopts the results of the 2025 Kansas State University Student Governing Association general election, including the election of the following to their respective positions. Student Body President and Vice President, Brady Kappelman and Zoe Pudens. This is already coming back. College of Agriculture, 6 seats, Ian Dunn, Mason Springer, Christian Panna, Sydney Heller, Carson Rudd, Drew Mickey. College of Architecture, Planning, and Design, 4 seats, Anna Koch, Emma Landwehr, Nicholas Kurz, and Cooper Potter.
College of Arts and Sciences, 12 seats. Andrew Lee, Max Black, Emily Freeman, Alondra Alvarez, Samantha Sushanik, Cooper Hillman, Samantha Barnes, Ibrahim Chifchi, Evelyn Ediger, Anna Halstead, Emily Prey, Avery Hogg. College of Business Administration, 9 seats. Jack O'Malley, Matt Holzmeister, Katie Zacko, Emma Holmes, Gavin Strunk, Madeline Jacobson, Trenton Rogers, Logan Brown, and William Trump. College of Education, 3 seats. Haley Biswell, Mandolin Otto, and Ben Richenberg. College of Engineering, 11 seats. Spencer Stram, Jordan Kramer, Jacob Mitchell, Diego Hernandez, Philip Shirky, Colin Scarborough, Brant Benson, Joseph Lilly, Daniel Polanco Castro, Kaylin Phillips, Noah Perry. College of Health and Human Sciences, 6 seats. Layla Spilter, Carly Saya, Courtney Klein, Ethan Carey, Levi Moltz. Graduate School, 7 seats. Mayowa George, Kazi Hassan Shakib, Olusola. Oh, God.
Vajihe
No, I didn't read his last name.
Shahasavari.
No, the one before that. Olangunki Yusuf, Vajihe Shah Savari, Anuthathara Karuna Drathna, Jacob Hoffman, Logan Erickson, College of Veterinary Medicine, 2 seats. Carissa Jonak, Alexa Hesseltine. Section 2. Vacancies in office shall be filled by the person receiving the next highest number of votes by the respective office in the manner specified in Article 4, Section 5A of the KSUSGA bylaws. Upon passage by the Student Senate, a copy of this resolution shall be sent to the Eldon Gideon Dean, College of the College of Agriculture and Director of K-State Research and Extension, Dr. Ernie Minton, Dean of the College of Architecture, Planning and Design, Michael McClure, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, Dr. Christopher Culbertson, Edgerly Family Dean of the College of Business Administration, Dr. Kevin Gwinner, Dean of the College of Education, Dr. Debbie Mercer, Dean of the Carl R. Ice College of Engineering, Matthew O'Keefe, Betty L. Toynton, Dean of the College of Health and Human Sciences, Dr. Brad Benke, Hodes Family Dean of the College of Veterinary Medicine, Dr. Bonnie Rush, Vice Provost for Graduate Education and Dean of the Graduate School, Claudia Petrusou, Vice President for Academic Success and Student Affairs and Dean of Students, Dr. Thomas Lane, Executive Vice President for External Engagement and Chief of Staff, Dr. Marshall Stewart, Provost and Executive Vice President, Dr. Jesse Perez Mendez, and University President, Dr. Richard H. Linton.
Chair Koch.
Claudia, from grad school is a doctor. So it should be Dr. Claudia.
That's line 120.
Senator Zago.
Line 28, Zoe Credence is spelled with a Y in her first name, Z-O-E-Y. And then line 59, Jack O'Malley has an apostrophe in his last name.
You're not supposed to put the apostrophe in.
Even if that's his legal name.
Yeah, it's like, that's not how it's been done any election year, so I just followed that. I guess we could, that's for another time though.
Senator
That's not corrected towards you, by the way.
Senator Shirky.
Line 123, the university president's title should have a capital H dot after Richard.
That's not required.
Oh, okay.
Senator Griffith.
Hey, do you think you could read the whole thing when I wasn't listening?
No.
Are there any further questions or corrections?
Yeah, 2.
Parliamentarian blood.
Line 117 should be Dr. Matterkey. And then line 21 should be it resolved.
Are there any further questions or corrections?
I have a point of information.
Yeah.
The reason Jack O'Malley does not have the apostrophe in his name is because the election system would not allow us to put the apostrophe, so that's why it's showing up as that.
Chair Sushanik.
Yeah, can we add another F to Jacob Hoffman's last name?
I object.
Are there any further questions or corrections for the author? Okay, seeing none, thank you. With that, we will now go into second open period. Are there any second open period speakers? Chair Lee.
Hello. Hi. Oh, it's so great to be here again. Hello. Hope everyone has great spring break plans. I'm here to talk about donations for citations once again. I just wanted to give you guys a little update, to be quite honest with you. So 1 second here. So, as of this last Friday, they've had 113 individuals donate. Hooray! Yes! For a total of 1,130 items donated, with a total value of about $4,783. However, there has been a change in policy for donations. There has been an issue that both WSU and we have been facing. Folks have been going to Cat's Cupboard and taking 10 items from Cat's Cupboard and going back to the parking garage to donate them. They are now requiring anyone who wants to utilize the program to bring a receipt, a purchase, like a proof of purchase or a receipt of those 10 items now, and those items with them. So just pass that along and keep that posted. But yeah, that's basically. And also, we're also there's been an influx of donations, and so Adrian's asking us to pick up.
Please limit the crosstalk while we have speakers again. If you want to have side conversations, you're free to go into the atrium or outside.
Thanks, Brian. Me and Natalie are gonna work something out in the spreadsheet. We're trying to pick up twice a week now because there's just so many people going, and like some of us aren't. I know some of us like didn't have a car, and so couldn't take all the donations at once. So no worries. Just Adrian has been letting me know. So yeah. Anyways.
Senator Shirkey.
So, as a remedy for the issue that you just mentioned, people taking from Cat's Cupboard and then re-donating them. Since you're the one who like set up the program, you know if this would interact correctly with parking. Is there a reason why people with citations cannot drop donations directly off at Cat's Cupboard and then like give a receipt to parking or something, proving that they did that to prevent? Because obviously the Cat's Cupboard people will know if someone walks in, walks back 5 minutes later with the same stuff.
Yeah, it's because parking services tracks all the stuff in-house, so they want to be able to verify the donations, quality check, and all that, and have it. That's why Adrian was against us dropping off at Cat's Cupboard in the first place. Yeah.
Thanks.
Are there any further questions?
We need some more volunteers, so sign up, guys, please.
Okay. Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay.
One more question.
Oh,
yep.
That's good.
Can we steal spots from other branches? Yes or no?
Yeah. Let me double check. I'll send an email, so don't worry. I'll double check with them though.
Are there any further questions for the speaker? Okay, seeing none, thank you. Are there any further second open period speeches? Senator Kramer.
So yeah, for those of you that don't know, I am a senator from the College of Engineering, but I'm also the secretary for Engineers Without Borders, the K-State chapter here. And this is kind of like an invite to everybody, because it's always been like, for engineers, usually are in Engineers Without Borders, but anybody else can kind of join, but what would you really do? Now we're extending the invite to any major, because we're doing a lot of things different now. Especially with, like, we want to do a marketing committee to do fundraising. So if you know of anybody just in the business, College of Business in general, or in marketing, definitely reach out to us. Also, like English majors can help with our grant writing, or people in accounting, any of that. So just kind of spreading that word out. Not super prepared today, so I will bring a presentation hopefully. So if you have any questions, you can email us at KC, or my email is probably out there somewhere. So yeah.
Are there any further second open period speakers? Senator Hoffman.
Hey guys, everybody should know by now that I'm a manager for Grey Garden, and their debut album is actually out tonight at midnight. So if you want, scan that QR code that goes onto their Spotify. It's not out. That flyer is lying to you, but it will be soon, in just under 4 hours. I like their music. I think you will too. Any questions? That's what you say.
Right. Are there any questions?
Thank you.
Seeing none, thank you.
No, thank you.
Are there any further second open period speakers? Okay, seeing none, we will go into reference of legislation. Resolution 72 will be referred to the Senate Operations Committee, and we'll now take it away with Senate shoutouts.
Okay, there are 100. There's only like 30 people in here. Okay. Jacob Hoffman is all, okay, wait, also don't add any right now because if you do, it like completely rearranges the order and then whatever. Jacob Hoffman is always whimsical. Shout out to Crosstalk even after being called out for it. Shout out to Carson covering his face with a piece of paper when forced to call on Philip. Graduate school names. Andrew should have won the award of most likely not to vote for his proxy. Shout out to the College of Business for being too distracting even after being told to be quiet. Shout out to the YouTube link for unlimited replays. Matt, your giggle is contagious. Shout out to Brian saying, yep, you're done. Shout out to Viv speaking so fast at the beginning of her debate. Shout out to Sam and Joseph having the same haircut. Shout out Joe so fast I blinked and he was gone. Love the beret. Shout out to First, does anyone have a beret on?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Shout out to First Open Period. We haven't had that much excitement in a while. Jacob again with the back that he's not. Okay, I don't know how to read that. Whoever typed that, try again. Joe's speeches are so fast. How fast are they? The headache I get when he usually speaks didn't hit this time. Guys, it smells like Updog in here. Updog. Shout out to Matt. Shout out to being called out. Shout out to emails asking for meetings. Good speeches, Joseph. You really want to get out of here soon. Shout out to the College of Business for not paying attention. Shout out to Joseph Joseph. Shout out to extra F's in the name. Jacob, your name has 3 F's. How did I not know? Shout out to the chicks that don't even know the name of his band, ... that he isn't in. Shout out to Culture. Can't stop rewatching the video on YouTube. Shout out to Brian for allowing applause tonight. Joseph is the new Lightning McQueen of speeches. Ka-chow. Shout out to Chair Lily actually saying my name mostly right. Shout out for College of Education going 4 for 4 with being read correctly, including Dean Debbie. Shout out to Alondra's shout outs. We should run a Senate and try to do it super fast, just like speed and rush everyone and make record time. Sorry, Joseph, you're a good sport champ. Side chat should be allowed. We are collaborating. Shout out to Matt for protecting his peace tonight. Your hair looks very nice today, Matt. Senator Lilly for being so very brave. Shout out to Captain Lily baton passing back to Sir Shushanik. Shout out to Carson for being late. Shout out, guys, tonight was so funny. Thank you for that. Shout out to it smelling like a foam pit in here. I don't know what that means. I hope it's not something bad. We should have an open bar. Mom, Dad, when can Mr. Strunk and Blood babysit us again. Shout out Carson shaming Andrew. Shout out to our one and only ops chair having one of the biggest victories of the entire term by convincing Brian Blood. Shout out to Tech, or as many know it, the College of Business Caucus. I'm speaking my truth. What the heck is a plebiscite? I don't know what a plebiscite is. So, shout out to Carson's face of shock during first open period. Shout out to a room full of bozos making me read a bill designed to be summarized. He can speed run speeches, but he slowly reads the longest piece of legislation. Okay. Shout out to the back right corner for saying I'm not paying attention. Gavin be like, Barbara Manatee. You want shout out to Loki smelling like sunscreen. Shout out to APD still being the only college without a dean with a doctorate. And folks, after a brutal battle between Sam and Joe, Chair Edgar enters the chat at 8:07, looking fabulous. Shout out to Joseph not liking long decimals. Rip Captain Lilly, he has been posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor for his valiant last stand while on the line of duty. Parentheses, reading the elections resolution. He is survived by a beautiful wife and 3 young children. Please salute this fallen hero, dismissed forever, your fair lost soul. Shout out to Brian for doing the agenda for the second week in a row. Shout out to Speak being the only thing keeping me here at Senate. Cute polo mat. Shout out to Gavin's Manatee. Shout out to Joseph Lilly for hating everyone while reading the election certification. Shout out to Vivian looking at military ranks for her Captain Lilly shout outs. Shout out to Chair Shushanek, baton passing to Chair Lilly. Joseph learned how to speed run from Minecraft YouTubers. Shout out to Speakeasy. Shout out to the College of Business for obviously having Thursday be the new Friday. Needed some popcorn for first open period. Shout out to the F Missing in Jacob's band. Shout out to We Did It Joe in relation to changing Brian's mind. Joseph, those speeches were so fast I almost didn't hear them. Shout out to the Joseph Lilly show tonight. Shout out to Ben getting swallowed by the table. Shout out to forgetting to vote for your proxies tonight. It's one of those days. Shout out to Sam and Joseph for once again having their names on every item of the agenda. Shout out to elections violation games. Sam, cute hair. Shout out to Brian saying yes to establishing our dominance over the other branches. Joe and Sam play tag all Senate, I swear. Go Joe, see if you can speed run this one. Sorry, Brian, I'm unfortunately able to limit crosstalk tonight. Things are too wild. Shout out to it being my bedtime. Shout out to crosstalk in the chambers. I love her. And shout out to the back right corner for passing because they didn't know what they were voting for.
That's the last one.
There's not. That's it. Oh. Hold on. I don't know where it is because they all rearranged. You can just say it.
Shout out to 28 shout outs being about Joseph tonight. 28.
With that, we will now go into second roll call.
Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, Alvarez.
Here.
Bailey. Oh, sorry. Black.
Black is proxy.
Blood. Coke.
Here.
Edgar.
Here.
Cox. Erickson.
Here.
George.
He's on two.
Glasscock.
Here.
Griffith.
Here.
Hassan Shakib. Hoffman.
Here.
Holzmeister.
Here.
Jacobson.
Here.
Jonak.
Here.
Kermer.
Here.
Kramer.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Lilly.
Here.
Moltz.
Here.
Morris.
Here.
Otto.
Here.
Owen.
Here.
Prey. Robbie. Rafferty.
Here.
Richenberg.
Here.
Ramirez. Shah Savari.
Here.
Shirky.
Here.
Sides. Strunk.
Here.
Sushanik.
Here.
Zacco.
Here. Wait. That one?
Yep.
Here.
Senator George.
Hello.
I gotcha.
Yeah, sorry. So this is just for the very last time. This is just to appreciate the Speaker of the House for doing a wonderful job in this last term, and I would like to appreciate the Speaker Pro too. You guys did a wonderful job, and it's been a privilege to be a senator under you guys. Thank you very much. Then one more thing I would like to add is, please, is there a way we can always get probably like a certificate after completion of each Senate term? Because it's very important, like a certificate to show that fine, during this term we served as a senator. Please, it's something I feel like you guys should look into. Probably this is gonna start from your own tenure. Once again, thank you very much. It's a privilege to be part of this house. 2024, 2023, 2024/2025. God bless you all.
Thank you, Senator George, for the compliment. Is there a motion to adjourn? Senator Glasscock.
I move to adjourn until Thursday, March 27 at 7 p.m. Second. And while catching.
We stand adjourned.
Seconder.